back tonight. I'm going to be doing a quick video. Not really a request, but someone had mentioned something about it. The way I do my conversions from 28 mil to 15 millimeter. So I'm going to do a quick 10-15 minute video on how I do that. So, primarily we're going to use mesh, well basically we're only going to use Mesh Mixer. I have need of some Lizardmen, so I'll show off converting up some Lizardmen. So I found these two guys on Thingiverse, Gamescapes 3D, put them out for free on Thingiverse. So you can find them there if you're looking for them. And we want to convert these to 28 or 15 millimeter. These are 28 mils to begin with. So what I've made is a small 15 millimeter tall rod, right in the middle, as you can see, it's highlighted. And we're going to attempt to scale these guys to 15 mil for starters. So we're going to put this guy off to the side. We don't really need him just this minute. And we're going to work with this guy here. So let's get him, the way I do it is I put him right over, we're going to switch the snap step. We're going to put him right over, try to get his eyes basically right over where the rod's going to be. And then we will reduce the scale until we get his eyes to the 15 mil rod. That's how you do 15 mil. So let's reduce it by 50%. Okay. Go ahead and align. That's going to be way too much, or not quite enough, I mean. Let's try, and now I'm gonna also take into account here. Let's cut his base off. Just do that now. I want to chop the base off so we have a better representation of 15 mil. Looks like right there is perfect. Chop the base off. So we got rid of the base. Can do this a little more accurate now. So we want to get roughly his eyes to the right where the top of that bar is, or that rod. He's a little hunched over, so I might do it to the just poking out the top of his head. That'll be a more accurate 15 mil model. Alright, so let's go ahead and back to transform. Let's get him right over the rod. There. And go back. Oh, see now. So we had scaled him 50. It doesn't matter. This part doesn't matter too much. You want to you just keep scaling them until you get them where you want them. So we'll say 80% from that point. Normally I do this in Shitu box. Alright, get a little bit more, a little smaller. Do another 80%. That's way too much. Let's go 95%. It's looking pretty good. Let's try 90. Whoa. 0.9. So this scale is just a ratio. Alright, that's probably alright. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So we've dropped them down in size. Maybe bump them up a tad. Bump them up 1.0, like another 2%. 3%, 4%, 10%. Alright. Yeah, we'll just do it that way. We'll just have it done to this. Alright, so that's that. We scale them down. Easy enough to do pretty much in anything. You can do it in a slicer program. But what we're going to do, let's get rid of that rod, is we want to, so this guy's nice and small now. We take the 28 millimeter, this is 28, not even 32. Take this millimeter, or 28 millimeter model, put it right over him. You can see how tiny this guy's going to be. He's going to be very small. So, with that in mind, if we look at things like this spear of his, those little prongs on the side, they'd snap off in a heartbeat. They're going to be hair thin. There's going to be lots of little detail that we're not going to want to have to support, like the bottom of this shield and some of these teeth. They're technically gonna be islands if we try to do this on a resin printer, and they're not gonna. And I wouldn't suggest printing 15 mil in FDM, but they're not gonna print all that well. So we want to smooth out a lot of this detail for making it a little stronger and also a little less difficult to support. Yeah, like there's this gap in his hand over here that might break his thumb off. I mean, it's going to be some flimsy model because you got to consider the size of this guy. He's going to be very small, like 1.5 centimeters tall. He's going to be tiny. So we got to thicken him up. So the way I go about that is first let's get ourselves a base. Just make one in Mesh Mixer. I do, let's see, 14.6. Now I'll take off uniform scale. We want it to be 1.6. So there's a reason I leave 0.4 millimeters shy of a 15 mil base, 2 mil thick. And I will get to that in a moment. First, let's align that. Alright, so we got our base, and we left that 0.4 millimeter. You don't have to, but I like to have basically a 15 mil base, so in order to get that, we're going to have to do that. We're going to go ahead and raise them up to just above the base. You can actually leave a little bit of air there, because we're going to fix it in a moment, so I'll do one notch above. Go ahead and center them. Good enough. Okay, combine. Well, first we gotta accept. Alright, combine. Now that is one solid model. Well, it's one model, not necessarily solid. Alright, so now what we want to do is we got them scaled down, we got them on a base. Then we're going to go to make solid. And it's going to look awful, and that's not what you want. What we're going to do is solid type accurate. Solid accuracy and mesh density is going to give you, the higher the number, the more accurately it's going to mirror the original model. So I usually do about 450, and that's pretty much identical. So if we just did that, you'd get basically the same model, just smaller, which is not what we want to do. We want to make this model a little bit more 15 millimeter friendly, especially for printing. I'm going to let it go through its little process here. So he's pretty close. I got a slow computer, sorry about that. So he's pretty much the same, but go ahead and cancel that. What we're going to do is, again, accurate, 450, 450, and we want to go to offset distance. And we're going to do 0.2 millimeters. And what this is going to do is that along every surface, it's going to add 0.2 millimeters of material around every possible surface. So it's going to add it on this side of the base and this side of the base and the top and the bottom of the base. That's why we left 0.4 millimeters. So when this is done doing it, it's going to be 2 mil thick now and 15 mil wide because it adds 2 mil on either, or 0.2 mil on either side. It's also going to add 0.2 mil along all of these little details, the teeth and everything, and you'll see what that's going to do. So go ahead and hit update, and you'll see how that'll affect the model. It'll be far more printer friendly. And if you are ever going to print FDM, you're definitely going to have to do this for a small model like that. You'll never get it to come out. This, you may get some models to come out if you do it this way on FDM. Although I still probably would think you wouldn't. Definitely need a resin for this. But, so now it's bulked up all those details. So those teeth, still a little bit, could go even a little bit more. But, so we're up close, and it looks a little bubbly up close, but when you pan out, so you're looking at that model, it's like probably about that far. especially on the tabletop, you're barely going to see that bubbly detail. And it's going to make it a lot easier to paint too, honestly. So that's how I go about, sorry, slow computer. That's how I go about transforming my 28 or 32 mil into usable 15 mil. Yeah, those ankles are nice and thickened up. So he'll print out, and he'll probably withstand the tabletop use as well. Let's look at the bottom of his shield. It's a little better. It's not great, but I mean, you've definitely probably smoothed out a few islands down there. I mean, he was probably the best choice. I just happen to need lizardmen, so there you go. That's how I convert my 15 mil to, or my 28 mil and 32 mil to 15 mil. You basically size it down however you size your models, and then you want to get it on a base. I always print little models on the base, and then you go to make solid. You want solid type accurate. You want solid accuracy and mesh density to a high number, higher, like I can do about 450, does pretty good. And then offset distance is the biggest thing. You're gonna want 0.2 mil. You can go less. You can go 0.1. If you want a little bit more detail, you can go more. If you want it to be super bubbly, let's go a little bit more. Let's go 0.3. See if it comes out. Oh, that's 3 mil. That'll be ridiculous. 0.3. Update. Computer's slowing way down. We're gonna stop this video in a minute. I wanted to make it quick. I don't want it to go too long. Let's just take a quick look at what 0.3 does. So you saw 0.2 is on the screen now. Let's see what it looks like at 0.3. Something like this, I might even do 0.3. Just to kind of smooth out some detail I don't feel like dealing with when I'm supporting. Almost there. Yeah, see, oh, it showed it. That was pretty good. So it kind of bubbled them out a little bit more. Smoothed them out a little bit more. Thickened up all those weak points a little bit more. And again, at arm's length, you're not going to notice that this guy looks bubbly like that. He's going to look normal. So, there you go. That's how I go about making 28 mil into 15 mil. Hope that helps you out. Anybody who happens to watch this, and that's it.